No? Good. Do they have self-centered attitude?
Yes.
Okay. How come that if somebody does not have the self-grasping ignorance, still they can have the self-centered? How come? How do you explain this? Huh?
No, his wisdom, he didn't carry this beard. So his wisdom, he didn't walk a lot with his wisdom.
Okay, so now tell me, when you see that the self, this self is like a dream, like an illusion, how still you have the self-centered, how can you have the self-centered attitude? Even after knowing that this self is like an illusion, how can you have the self-centered attitude? This is the question.
I think it's very difficult for me to think in these terms that how there is a self-centered attitude. But at least I can think that he didn't have the goal to look for all sentient beings, so he hasn't achieved it. He's very generous, he thinks about others, but because his goal wasn't every sentient beings, he hasn't achieved it.
Okay, my question is same. If you get rid of the self-centered attitude completely, then you achieve Buddhahood. The question can take two different forms. How come that he still has the self-centered attitude is one question. Number two, the same question can be put, how come that he did not achieve Buddhahood? Right? If I ask how come that he did not achieve Buddhahood, then what Leora gave the answer is correct, is very fitting. Whereas my question is different form. I said, how come that if somebody does not have the self-grasping ignorance, you see the self as like illusion now? It's like a dream. Knowing that the self is like a dream, how can still that person still have this self-centered attitude? Huh?
He didn't practice Bodhicitta.
No, this is what we have to prove. You getting it? The question is, in the first place, what the other person is saying is that if you get rid of the self-grasping ignorance, then the self-centered attitude, there's no room for self-centered attitude. This is what the other person is saying. So how can you prove, how can you convince that it is possible? After getting rid of self-grasping ignorance, you see the self as illusion-like. Illusion-like, still you have this self-centered attitude that is possible. How can you convince that? This question. Okay, now to know this, we have to know that the self-centered attitude, there are two kinds. The gross and the subtle. Self-centered attitude, there are two kinds. The gross and the subtle. You getting it? This is very important. The gross self-centered attitude is, which says that I am more important than others. The gross one says, I am more important than others, right? When you have the gross one, then all the problems are attracted. With the gross self-centered attitude, gross self-centered attitude is always with self-grasping ignorance. So arahats, they don't have the gross self-centered attitude. They only have the subtle self-centered attitude. Arahats, they don't have the gross self-centered attitude. So gross self-centered attitude is always with the self-grasping ignorance. You getting it? Arahats, because they don't have the self-grasping ignorance, they don't have the gross self-centered attitude. They only have the subtle self-centered attitude.
Which is?
Okay, now your question is, how do you distinguish between the gross self-centered attitude and the subtle self-centered attitude? This is your question, right? What is the subtle self-centered attitude? This question.
What is subtle attitude?
Where is the subtle self-centered attitude? This is a good question. Yes. Okay. The gross one is the one which says that I am more important than you. Listen. One. Now the subtle one says that okay, I'll tell you. And you give me the answer, right? I'll ask a question. You say, I'm Arahat. You say, I'm Arahat. I'm Arahat who is not a Buddha. Arahat who is not achieved Buddhahood, right? I'm Arahat. So if somebody asks you, hey, who is important in this hall? I say, I am important. Is it correct or not correct? Am I important or not? Hey, are you important? Not important. Huh?
All are important.
All are important. Are you important? This is my question. Yes, of course you are important. Okay, now I'm saying, and say, Ari asked the questions to all of us. Right? Then I know that there are so many people here. And Ari asked, who's important? I said, I'm important. Again, Ari asked the second question, who's important? Again, I said, I'm important. Okay, is this correct answer or not correct answer? Correct answer. Okay, he asked me 10 times, and 10 times I give the answer that I am important. Okay, what is the problem with this answer? Do you see a problem?
Everyone.
It's the I.
Huh?
I.
What's wrong with the I?
I am the big. I am the.
No, I didn't say I'm big.
No, I am the important. You.
That's true. What's wrong with
You didn't
that?
say that others are the only
I didn't say that I'm more important than you. I said that I'm important. And you said it's correct. So what's wrong with that? Anyone? He asked me 10 questions, and all 10 questions I said, there are so many people here, yet all the 10 questions I respond by saying that I am important. All the 10 answers are
You
correct.
think about everybody.
Huh?
I think it's because you asked 10 times, so you have to look about
Why have to look at others?
because you are not the only one,
No, it doesn't matter, but you know, I'm important.
but not only.
So why would you, I didn't say I'm the only important one. I didn't say this.
Yeah, we didn't say so, but it means if you don't pay attention in 10 times, it means you only in yourself.
No, I didn't say that, you know, if you ask me, are we equally important? I say, yes, we're equally important.
So
I will never say, I never say that I'm more important than others. I
so
never
why
say.
didn't you regard to others?
No, why should I have to have regard to others?
Because we are here.
No,
question
you-
was
You didn't
very-
ask.
No, the question is, okay, the question is, did you see the question? The question is that 10 times I ask me the question, 10 times I give the correct answers. All these 10 answers, are they correct or not correct?
Correct.
I did not say that I'm more important than others. He asked me who's important. I said I'm important. I'm important. I'm important. I'm important. I'm important. Okay. All these answers are correct, but there's one problem.
There's not the
One
only
is
correct
enough.
answer.
Huh?
One answer is enough.
Because you
You
asked
answer once. It's enough.
no, because you asked 10 questions, so therefore I give 10 answers, right? Okay. What's the Dioma, right? No, CP. The answer that CP gave is correct. We have to put it in a proper way. Answer is correct, right? Answer that you gave is correct. Okay. So there you said something like, you say, I differentiated. Right? I did not say that I'm more important, but I differentiated with I and others, right? Okay. Here, let's say that we all say, by the way, tell me, in Israel, in Tel Aviv, what is the beautiful garden? Any garden?
Hayakon.
Huh?
Hayakon.
Hayakon, beautiful garden with beautiful flowers.
Yeah.
Okay, Hayakon, right? So the Mary is going to take us to Hayakon. It so happens that we reach there at night and power cut, right? And we all have the small torch. We all have the small torch, right? And I was given the torch by Shosh, right? We all have a small torch. Can you enjoy the garden with a small torch? Why not?
Because you see facts.
You just see one flower, right? One flower is not a garden. You getting it? What is that garden known as?
Hayakon.
Hayakon, right? One flower is not a Hayakon. Hayakon has hundreds of flowers. You have to see the hundreds of flowers together. Only then you enjoy garden. You came here not to enjoy one garden. You came here to enjoy you came here not to enjoy just one flower. You came here to enjoy the Hayakon garden, the whole garden, right? So if you want to enjoy the garden, this torch is not sufficient. You need the sun, which illuminates every flower. You getting it? Likewise, they say, if Ari asks you, who is important? I'm important, she's important, she's important, she's everybody. You know, it should reach out to everyone, not just to I. So what's the problem with this? This light, what's the problem with this small torchlight? What's the problem with this?
You don't
It
change
is-
everybody.
Exactly, it is a light, but it is not pervasive. Because it is not pervasive, it cannot enjoy the whole garden. Right? It's not wrong, it's light, it's not darkness, it's light. But this light is too small. When you say I'm important, I am important. I'm important is like a small torch, only focused on the self. So here the self-centered attitude, subtle self-centered attitude is defined, or it's not really defined. It means a sense of the importance of the sense of the importance of the self, sense of the importance of the self by being oblivious to others. Don't forget it. What is oblivious? Right. Okay. What is oblivious in oblivious? Not obvious. It's not obvious.
מתעלם, זה להתעלם.
Oblivious, not indifferent. Indifferent is a very strong word. Oblivious means you are not aware. You know, others not aware. Focus always on the self. Okay, so subtle self-centered attitude can be understood as a sense of the importance of the self, by being oblivious to the importance of others. Right? So this is much, much less intense as compared to I am more important than you. Right? That is very gross. I am more important than you. This is very gross as compared to I am important while being oblivious to others. You getting it? That is subtle. Now the arahats, they have this sense that I'm important but being oblivious to others. Arahats, you getting it? Okay. Now,
And the Buddha would say,
Buddha will say, others are more important than me.
Why? Why not? Well,
Equal.
Equal.
Oh, very good. Wonderful. Amazing. Why? Because we are yet to follow the 8 steps. We are only doing the first step. What's the first step? Equalizing self and others. So therefore, the Itzik in his mind is equalizing is very important, right? So because we did not do the remaining steps. With the remaining steps, you will see that others is amazing. You are getting it? That will come later. We're here to study this. We'll study it. Right? Leoma, your question?
I asked about the Buddha, what would the Buddha will say?
Buddha will say that others are more important than I. Yes. Okay, good. Now, okay, step 1, equalizing self and others. So thus far, we are dominated by this self-centered attitude. We always say, I am more important than others. Whether say it or not, verbally say this or not, but mentally we always think that I am more important than others, even in the dreams. And this, if it helps you, go with it. It doesn't matter. If it does not help you, now you have to reconsider this. If it only harms you, why should we have to follow this thinking? If it harms us, okay, does it harm us, or in actuality we realize that it harms us? How? That we'll study later, right? Now the first thing that we need to do is we have to climb the steps. Finally, may I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings, to reach to that level of other cherishing. To reach to that level of other cherishing, we have to, it is a very high level. Because it's very high level, we cannot jump to the roof directly. If we jump to the roof directly, we will fall. So therefore we have to take the steps. Take the steps. So the one step that we can take is to see the self and others as equal. Self and others as equal. Right? Okay. Now, if we say that if we are all extremely thirsty at one point, or hungry at one point, very thirsty and hungry, and somebody comes with the say a glass of water. Who wants to drink it? Who wants to drink it? What is your answer? I will drink it. Right? We never say that, oh, Gilala will drink it, or the Ezekiel will drink it. Particularly if your thirst is 80%, 90%, it's acute. Right? Now, no, it's and the person says, I'll give only to one person. You cannot distribute it. Right? Okay. And particularly when you are thirsty, 80%, 90%, very likely will not say distribute it. If you're 50% thirsty, you will say we'll distribute it. Right? If you're 20% thirsty, you may say give it to others. 50% you will say half. 80% you will say I. Right? This is how our mind works. Okay, now, if somebody asks you, why you? Why you? What's your answer? You said that I like to drink it. You're 80, 90% thirsty. And who's going to drink it? I like to drink it. Why you? What's the answer?
I'm thirsty.
Because I'm thirsty. You'll say this. Because I'm thirsty. Right? And then the other person will ask you, others also thirsty? Your answer is yes. Now why you? You're all equally thirsty. Why you?
I am more thirsty.
Okay. You will say, huh? Okay, now there's no answer. There's no sound answer left. Right? There's no sound answer left. There's no reasonable answer left. So now the only thing why you feel that I want to have it is only because of the self-centered attitude. You getting it? Reason-wise, there is no justification that you should get this water and not others. There's no justification. Right? So if you think more like this, in this way, if you think more in this direction, then slowly this, the first step is easy. To see oneself and others as equal. Not to say that others are more important than you. Then you will say that I don't want to practice Bodhicitta. When equal, then you say, okay, it's fine. Right? Okay, so this is the very skillful way. That you are all just equal in what? Equal in wanting happiness and not wanting suffering. We are all equal in wanting happiness and not wanting suffering. Right? Why we want good things, why we don't want suffering, is simply because of this desire. Wanting happiness, not wanting suffering. And this is equal. You and others, we are all just equal. The more we think about this, the more our sense and attitude will go down. The more we think. If we don't think about it, if you know this and leave it like this, if we don't think about it, our self-centered attitude will remain as strong as it is. And the more the self-centered attitude, more the suffering will be attracted. Okay, this is one thing. Right? Okay, we'll stop here. Diyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasam Gati Bodhi Swaha Diyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasam Gati Bodhi Swaha Diyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasam Gati Bodhi Swaha. Okay, 3 questions.
These questions and answers again, right?